All right. Hello. Hello. Welcome to an slightly impromptu Family Day stream. It's a public holiday here in Canada today. And so I figured I'll just get some work done on my game instead, as I would normally be working on a Monday. So let's do that today. How is everyone? Welcome. Hope you are well, wherever you are in the world. I always love hearing where you guys are from, so feel free to let me know in the chat. But yeah, I'm gonna just kind of jump into things. I've done enough of these now that I feel like if you're here watching, you're probably familiar with what's going on. I'm doing level design work on Cabs of Chaos, and I've been doing things since the last stream. I can't really remember. I think we left the last stream off with this area, and yeah, so I've been busy in the interim. I realized that the bottom section here, in the original layout, which is a little bit annoying to turn on, but there were no destinations in this corner. So there's like a supermarket that's gonna go here, and then there's a sort of pasta place here, like a spaghetti factory type thing. And so I was like, well, maybe we can use some of this space. And this is why I think that there's a big difference between like when you're actually implementing the art and the little block out that I did. You sort of get a better understanding of the space and have ideas and get to do little things like this. So what I did was over the weekend was implement this new little location that is going to be Cedarwood City Bank. And I think it's really cute and adorable, and there's a little car park. And yeah, so this section of the map is now more or less where I want it to be. For those of you that are tuning in, this is the first time you've watched this stream. I'm doing level design work on Cabs of Chaos. I'm taking from the block out that I've done into the into like a closer to final version. One of the big things that I'm not focusing on is like all the little details and stuff. I really just want to make it look more like like just getting it over that line of block out to sort of closer to final art, because everything else that I need to do kind of needs this to be done. And so I'm sort of prioritizing getting this done before I can sort of continue working on all the other little pieces of the game. But things like, you know, signs and extra details, I'm not even sure I'm going to need. But like that stuff and all the decals and things, though, I think those will come a lot later. It's a sort of like locus of detail resolution, right? Where the block out was very low res, right? And just trying to get a concept of the space and layout, and then the next level up from that is sort of what I'm working on right now. So doing the bare minimum I need to do in order to sort of keep working on all of the other things that I need to do for the game, right? So yeah, anyway, that's what we're doing. And we have probably, I think at this point, the sort of right section of the map here is done, right? Like, that's kind of, you'll probably drive around a little bit between what we're doing today, but yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. I was doing a lot of this last night, a little car park area. I was sort of trying this, and I think it came out quite nice. So I might use this more, because I realize in a real city there's a lot of parking, and I haven't been modeling that as much. I think what I will do is, if you can get to some of the alleys eventually, I'll put little parkade entrances there. But again, it's just a balance of like that level of detail. So anyway, hello everyone. Let's read some chat messages before I jump straight into this. What are your thoughts on editor extensions? Have you viewed any of the videos on my channel? I feel like everybody in the chat that is familiar with my channel should probably know editor extensions I am a big fan of. In fact, there is a little button down here. In the last stream, I said I would make it, and I was working on stuff. This little button on here will let me move selected elements into the last... Oh, yeah, you can see it. Okay. Yeah, move selected elements into the last selected element. It's a tiny little button. It's a little overlay panel thing, but I needed that tool way earlier than I've added it, but now I can like grab things and move them into a parent because I've got all of my layouts separated. I think you can see this loosely. All of my level is sort of separated into each of these sort of quadrants, so I need that to move things around because Unity doesn't let you pick like a... I mean, this would also be a useful feature to add is, as an editor extension, would be when I add things like set this transform as the parent. That would be a really good feature. I don't know if that exists. That probably exists somewhere, but anyway. Doing the bare minimum sounds good. Yeah, I mean, it's a constant balance of... I think this is the same thing for any indie dev, right? Is like you just want to do as much as you can do to answer the questions that you're trying to answer, right? So it was the block out was, does this layout work? Is it fun? Is it interesting? What can I change? And having that flexibility to move around. And I've spoken about this before too. The next stage now is okay, now with more real art, does it still work? Do I need to change some more things? And different ideas of how that looks, and does the game still stand when it's real shapes rather than just cubes? So okay, so I haven't seen the changes to Pro Builder. There's changes to Pro Builder. Is that these ones here, like with all the cube stuff that you can just do that? I quite like this. Or are there other changes to Pro Builder now? I like the fact that they've sort of integrated it into the toolkit here. I find it a lot easier to work with. There's still some things that are a little bit weird where like you get the different controls, but in general, I think Unity's addition of this sort of overlay panel GUI thing with UI Toolkit is pretty neat because you get to make little custom ones, and I like that they can sort of be docked in a corner and stuff. But yeah, I can understand if you're used to the old toolkit that they had, that going away, like the little dockable special window and stuff that they had. I did like all the colors and things like that, so I can understand that difference for sure. But I quite like the new one. I find it, the fact that it's just kind of there and like it has the drop downs and stuff, I find it a lot easier to find things pretty quickly. But I do understand how, if you're used to the alternative, that probably isn't great. So, okay. I have been trying to go back and forth on what I want to do next. So, I'm gonna hide the main level for now and then show the layout. So one of the zones in the layout here is this bit, which is another one of the stations. And it's kind of a core component of this section because then there's like a little underpass and then a jump from the underpass to this being a fast food restaurant. There's then a jump up here as like a little shortcut to this section, and then this is a little coffee shop. So, and I think this area, like this section here, is going to be really annoying and complicated to build. That'll just be a 3 hours stream of me and Blender getting all confused and annoyed and making lots of changes. So, because that's exactly what it was like when I was building the real version of this one, the first station that you saw. I'm very pleased with how it has turned out, but in general, it's not. It was quite time consuming. I just don't think it would make that interesting of a stream. Maybe we'll do it, but there's so many other components to work on today still that could occur. I mean, I'm still trying to figure out what to do with this section. Again, in that original layout, there is a sort of art gallery / town hall. This is based off of the Vancouver art gallery. I'm calling it the town hall in the game. I haven't fully settled on whether I like it or not, but the main component it has is that it's a starting area for all the players on this map. So all 4 vehicles will sort of start in line here, so they all have fair start. And I quite like that feature of it, so maybe we'll keep it as it is and build that there eventually, and put a couple of buildings in here, but keep this section as a sort of plaza. Because originally in the original layout, this area was a plaza, but in the version that I've made now, I've sort of turned it into a few little alleys and things. I might end up closing these off. I haven't fully decided on that yet, or if they are shortcuts. That's probably going to be a playtest thing. If it works, if it doesn't, I'll probably, you know, just close off some spots and just make it a loop. Upside to some of the tools that I have for this is definitely that. So, yeah. Today, I could carry on. Maybe we just fully finish this section off back here. There's supposed to be a route, a little like shortcut route there. That could be good. Maybe we finish this edge off, or we go over to this side. I think it's one of these two, because I think once I start getting into this section, I'm getting too close to the path. I mean, one thing we could do is just actually add the plaza there. So maybe let's do that. This is gonna eat up my. Well, maybe not. Maybe we're okay. Okay, let's add the actual pavement that we wanted for now. Make these corners a little less aggressive. I haven't optimized my editor tools pretty much at all. And this machine is a lot slower than my laptop. So, it's going to struggle a tiny bit. I also realized that intersection is not correct. Is that because this is set to 18? Yeah, okay, so this needs to be set to 18. Okay. So, for instance, these are in the wrong place. But again, it's so much more work to fix that than just deal with it, and it's not in the way yet. So, okay, that'll do for that little piece. This section needs straightening out. It struggles to draw. What I really need to do is find a way to make the gizmos only draw where I want them to be drawn. That'll make a difference, because right now I have to click and then unclick. And I also need to. I found that I don't like this bobble. I think I need to make that a selection so that, because Unity just likes to go in all sorts of different directions with this. Not ideal. And yeah, okay, so we need to update this intersection to the correct width as well. So these need to be 18. The idea for this section is that, oh no, that one needs to be 22. The idea for this section is that it's like a one-way route around, and there'll probably be some cars on the street. I haven't fully decided if that's what I want to do yet. But yeah, the tools are a little painful to work with. But when you don't work with other people, you have that flexibility of kind of slightly crappy tools that you can deal with versus no tools. But now I'm very aware that you guys are all watching me and judging me for it, so. I know one of my co-workers watches this stream and will be just commenting on it. Okay. Alright, this is painful. This is too painful, so I'm not going to fix those today, but I will fix these eventually. Okay, that's better. This is more what I wanted, so that's good. This intersection is just awful. Let's fix that. The problem is I update the tools and then it breaks everything, so I have to just go back and like update everything again, and it's less than convenient. But procedural tools are like that. So, out of curiosity, do you manually align the sidewalks, or does it have some way to snap? They are, they're just part of the, they're part of the system that generates the road. And so part of what I'm doing, what you're watching me do right now, is some additional features that I've added recently to allow me to adjust the sort of Bezier in different portions and the lengths and widths of them. There's a lot of data on them. I actually, I feel like I've mentioned this almost every stream, but this is a very, like, a Mark II, Mark III version of a bunch of the tech that I was exploring in my Spline Roads video. And I may do like a sort of similar to the format the video I just released. I may do an update maybe at some point in time. Part of the problem with a lot of the content that I've had on this channel for a while, the way that I've built the format for the content, is that it has limited me from being as flexible as I'd like. And so the latest video I released was a little bit more flexible in talking about things that maybe wouldn't merit a full video, but it's not doing very well. I think that's mostly just because of the niche of the content rather than the style of the video. But obviously, you know, a very polished video versus more off-the-cuff version is not going to do as well, because I'm known for the polish, I guess. But it kind of sucks that that's the case. Anyway, to answer your question properly, this is, yeah, so they're kind of just built into the road tools, and they're just generated as a control on the tools. So it's just using a bunch of math to figure out, it draws the road and then the curbs, and then the pavements are offset based off of where the curb was. Because in the prototype version, I was doing just roads on their own, and then pavements were being lined up separately. And it was awful because all the curbs were at different heights, and like it sucked. So that was when I was like, okay, these need to be connected. You can see here, there's just like, it's kind of all bumpy and it doesn't actually line up with the road properly. There's like, I mean, this one I've probably lined up reasonably well because it's where you started in the game. But it's very, very inconsistent. Yeah, you can see it here, like the edge there doesn't work. So some of these intersections are sort of, they're just strange. So I figured that I would just build it into the tools, and that would make life a lot easier. So how do you make good videos? Well, I mean, I have been making videos for my entire adult life. So I started editing and filmmaking with my friends when I was a lot younger. So I just kind of learned how to edit, and it's a lot of trial and error and looking at what works and what I like in other videos and trying to emulate what I like and what I don't and sort of put my own spin on it. I mean, if you go back and look at my original videos, they're totally different. Like, they're still, you know, you can see where I'm going, but I didn't hit the format that I think you're used to watching in my most recent ones for a while. Okay, let me fix this edge. Why is that edge so weird? Is it just that this is in the wrong place? D-Rabbit, thank you for subscribing. I'm curious about those subscription notifications, if those are people that are subscribing from these live videos, or if that's just going to play anytime anybody subscribes to the channel. I don't know how that works on YouTube, and I think it's very funny. If it is the former, the one that which they're just watching YouTube videos and have subscribed, it's funny that they could not be watching the live stream, and that message pops up. So I think if that does end up being the case, I may just remove that notification because it stops kind of being useful at that point. Oh, you know what? Is that because I need to make this it is. Ah, there we go. Okay. There we go. Let's straighten that up. Yeah, as you can see, because some of this is procedural, I have to do some manual work to like adjust the edges so they're not super gnarly. And that's why some of these tools exist, because it's all smoke and mirrors. And as long as you don't notice the edges all the time, like, and this is another point really, is I'm not an artist, but I want this to look good, but I don't want to spend my life making art for this game, right? Like, so, you know, stuff like this. I'm not really worried about this. Cause like, okay, yeah, you stop and look at it and you go, but most of the time you're gonna be driving past, you're not gonna be staring at the sidewalk. So like, whatever. If it means I can develop my game faster, and probably if I really put some time into it, I could polish that and fix it. So often it's just about priorities and figuring out where you want to put your time, because we only have so much of it, especially considering I'm making this in my spare time. Okay, why isn't that connecting properly? Oh, because my tool is screwing me over. I need to make those not yellow. I keep thinking that those yellow lines are actually the yellow lines from the texture, but they're not. They're just the lines from the tool to show me where the Bezier curves are, and yeah, so that edge is a little gnarly. But you know what? Once there's some stuff in there, it's probably gonna be fine. So I've watched all your UI videos and still don't know how to make good UI. I make terrible UI. Yeah, well, I mean, there is an art to it, right? Of course, but I think it is just practice, ultimately. I don't think my UI skills are any good. I think they're okay. I don't consider myself a UI artist. But I look at UI, like UI database is one of the things I spend the most time on when I'm trying to do research. Like, it really is, learning is just a case of like looking at what works, looking at what doesn't, and figuring out why, and just trying to replicate that. I mean, obviously there's fundamental skills that you need to build up beforehand, but those critical thinking skills are what make you good at your job, right? Like, anybody can just kind of replicate. It's your ability to replicate and analyze that makes you, you know, grow. Okay, I think I'm happy with this section, so I'm gonna put a little thing down. Do I want to, maybe I want to put the pavement there? Yeah, I'll make that pavement a little bit. Actually, no, I won't, because like that can just be normal pavement. So I don't know why I'm spending time getting these edges. I can fix those edges later though. So, all right, let's, oh, there's a bunch of stuff just sitting in here that I haven't tucked away, so we can use my new tool for that. Okay, let's grab all these guys and put them in the middle, right? And then press that button and away they go. Hooray. Okay, back here, let's make our edge. So easiest thing to do is always just grab one of the existing ones, duplicate that, put that in the middle. Oops, was it this one? Yeah, that one. Okay, click middle, move that to middle, and then bring that over here. Perfect. Do we go for a different texture? Maybe we go for like a cement texture or something. I don't know. Do you use PlayFab or Steam or other stuff for player databases? I don't know what that question means. If you can clarify what you mean by that, I'll try and answer it. Are you a fan of state machines for player logic, or do you go with other approaches? Yeah, no, I don't really follow a lot of the. I kind of just do my own thing. It probably is a state machine. but I don't know, I just kind of figure out what I think makes the most sense for the type of game I'm making. If it's, you know, like a strategy game or something, I would probably build behavior trees. I just have a lot of sort of controllers and directors and stuff, so. Oh, logging in, keeping player data on account, signing up. Authentication. Well, I don't make those kind of games, so currently nothing. This, for multiplayer side of it, will be using, like, I'm gonna try and, it has, it'll just be peer-to-peer. So right now I'm using Unity's transport, and I'll probably take advantage of Steam lobbies. I need to look into how Steam's system works, basically, to know, but my thought process is to make the sort of multiplayer lobby system rely on Steam. And so, for instance, if you end up buying the game on itch, you can, I guess, get a key to Steam or something, and then if you want to use the multiplayer lobbies, but I don't want to do, like, networking and all this kind of stuff. I'm not that interested in that. The only stuff I'll probably use is a lot of the analytics data, because I think it'll be important for this game. And that probably is just going to be whatever I need to use for Unity. Again, I haven't really done a lot of this sort of game before, so. Why not Photon? Because I don't want to learn it, basically. Unity for game objects is simple enough. And I did it on a whim. So, like, this game was initially designed as a single player / local multiplayer game. And if you look at my replay video, I built the replay system for this game, and then I was like, wait a minute, maybe I can just send that data or a version of it over the network, and that would then sort of work. So I played around with netcode for game objects, also because I kind of wanted to learn that too, and it ended up being very quick to implement. So that's why. And anything that's going to cost me money, I'm not going to use, because this is a hobby game that I do not intend to spend any money on outside of for voice acting and I guess some marketing and stuff. But I want this game to be as low budget as possible. The only thing that it should cost me is my time, and I make most of that back from, you know, the research that I get from making this game. Like, not to diminish any of the other tools or anything, just I'll use simple, you know, accessible things if I can. Do I need to make the grid distance bigger? I think I do, yeah, because this is going to be quite a big mesh. Yeah, I've heard that Steam system is pretty solid. I was looking into it when I was first sort of toying around with it, and it looks like I can just take advantage of their lobby stuff without necessarily needing, like, I think I can cherry pick the pieces that I want, which is good. Because, but it depends. The biggest challenge is going to be, like, actually getting the computers to talk to each other, right? Because you have to do a bunch of stuff. Like, networking is just a pain. So, like, in any format, it's a pain. Like, there are still some quirks of NGO that, you know, are annoying, so. But the main thing I don't want to start doing is, like, multiplayer lobbies and all this kind of stuff. Like, there'll be a peer-to-peer hosted lobby, and probably a list of people. I don't know how I'm gonna get that to work, like the lobby stuff. I think that's where I think I can use Steam's. Again, I don't know enough. That's ultimately where it comes down to. And the reason I picked netcode for game objects was just because, I don't know, it was there. Like, sometimes the easiest thing to get in a hold of is why you pick something, right? Like, I don't make multiplayer games. Most of the games that I've made in my lifetime have been single player, so. I'll never claim to be a guru on anything. I'll just claim that I have experience in certain areas over others. I mean, that's part of it too, is like most of my channel is just, hey, I learned this thing. Here is what I learned, so that you now don't have to spend 6 to 10 months tearing your head out, like tearing your eyes out, trying to figure out how this thing works, because there's basically no documentation around it. Unity. You know, and I consider it me going over to my coworker's desk and just being like, look, I figured this thing out. Maybe it's useful to know. But, and I get that a lot. I get comments of like, this is not the most efficient way to do it. And I'm like, I don't. So? Like, okay, good. Then, you know, please inform us. Game dev is like that though. And I think there's also no one right way to do everything. I do try and stress that a lot in my videos. I think it comes through. And I'm like, especially in that I don't really ever tell you that. I never say like, this is the way to do it. I'm just like, this is a way to do it. And there's checks and balances and trade-offs. There's always trade-offs to everything. Yeah, local multiplayer for all the games is the most you need. Steam system for network local is really easy to use. Yeah, I mean that's kind of it. I want to use network local. It's ultimately real multiplayer is just, I don't know. It is, I guess the best way to put it is it is on the lowest of priorities for this game, but I've proven that I can do it. So, and it works. I played with my friend in Germany, and the ping was pretty good. Like, there was not much delay, so the gameplay worked. So, the fact that I managed to get it functional, that easily, gave me the confidence that I could sort of make it a feature of the game. But if, you know, if I run out of time or energy or effort or whatever, or it starts becoming a pain, I will just cut it, because it is not really the thing I care for most. I want this to be a single player game that has couch co-op that you can play with friends. And Steam have like I've never really used it, but they have the sort of remote play together thing. I'm curious to see how that works. I'm not going to rely on it, obviously, but yeah. How do you test when nobody's your friend? I mean, you could pay people, I guess. You could pay for testers. A lot of people will probably play your game as a network playtest as well if you're offering just access to the game too. So, I don't know, get some traction for the game. Like, I will do that soon. One of these streams will probably be a playtest stream. And people watching the stream will, you know, be able to play. That'll probably a long way in the future from now, but I think we'll do it. Oh, there we go. Let's turn the edges on just so in case this doesn't quite work, we have some edges. This is a really big section. Like, it's really big. I don't know how I feel about this, to be honest. Yeah, I'm gonna make that edge come in. I think I'm gonna just rely on the edges themselves to do most of the work here. Like, we need a little bit of the curb, like pavement for the curb, but ultimately, I think we can just use the platform as the main edge point. Let's connect that up there. Again, like, all this stuff I'll clean up later. I'm not super worried about it right now. I just want a platform there. I'm getting tired of staring at like a blue hole in the ground. All right, that'll do. Good enough. It's one of the things where, like, visually there's so many errors when I'm zoomed out like this, but the camera's pretty much just down here. And so as long as it looks good at this angle most of the time, which it should do, and it will, it doesn't really matter, you know? Like, some of the seams just don't show up unless you're looking at it kind of zoomed out. relied on Steam Remote Play entirely. Interesting. Yeah, that might be how I test initially. I don't know. I need to spend time thinking about it, but one thing at a time, I guess. Okay. Yeah, that edge is a little messy. I should probably turn the resolution up for this one because it is a pretty big mesh. There we go. Okay. All right, that's better. Right. So let's build the connecting section, I think. Or one of the corner sections here. It feels like such a tight corner to let me drive down that. I want to see, like, I like that it's straight because it encourages the player to take that shortcut. That corner is probably going to screw up all of my vehicle. I don't know. Maybe it's fine. Maybe it's fine. It's probably fine. All right. Yeah, I'm getting a bunch of Fmod errors because I do not have Fmod Studio installed on this PC. I'm not worried about that right now. Okay. Yeah. Oh, I need to fix that bit too. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, this new section works well. I like it, actually. I'll probably put a sign or something on this building here. So it's a little less, maybe a tree or something. I don't know. It makes me laugh every time that train goes past. It's great. Okay. Can I drive on this yet? Yeah, I can. Okay, good. Oh, it's better than falling down a massive hole. Oh yeah, no, that's fine. Okay, it looked so tight, but it's fine. It's fine. The turning in this is pretty responsive, especially on a keyboard. That's the one thing I'm not sure. Maybe mouse steering is going to be the way to go with some of this. I need to have a look at how. I don't play sort of driving games with mouse and keyboard. I tend to use a controller, and this is designed obviously to be used with a controller. So one of the things I do need to look at, because obviously you only get a binary turning in with a keyboard. So I need to look at how mouse controls are implemented for steering in a lot of the games that I'm referencing, and probably just go with a behavior that makes the most sense there, because that'll be familiar to people playing on mouse and keyboard. Like, this game is controller focused, but I don't want to make the experience crap for mouse and keyboard players, because that would suck. So, okay. Yeah, let's put a building here. Maybe let's see that. Is Fmod good? I might look into trying it with a musician on my team. Yes, Fmod is, yeah, Fmod's pretty great. It's free too. I was not fond of it, or not keen to try it out. No, what's the word? That's not it. I was hesitant. That's the word. To be using it until I realized that it's basically free until you make a bunch of money. So that kind of turned me onto it. And yeah, it's excellent. I will be doing a video on Fmod at some point. I actually am working alongside Power Up. We're working alongside Power Up Audio on Generation Exile, and so I want to try and talk to our sound guy from Power Up as part of that video, because he has the most experience with it, and we'll be able to give like really good, like, actual precise advice. So that will probably not be the next video, but that'll be sometime this year, I think. So we'll see. So yeah. Right then. Thank you. Okay. Gonna check it out. I'm gonna take a look. Yeah, so like one of the cool things that lets you do, for instance, that I'm gonna use on this is loop different sections of music based on context. Like you can put little events in and play different parts based on parameters, and you could change music. You can use parameters and stuff to like bring. I mean, you can kind of do this in Unity, but it's a little bit more clunky. And you can sort of loop certain sections of music. So I want the music that I make for this game to have a cool intro section as the sort of game opening ceremony for the game starts, you know, like 3, 2, 1, go kind of thing. And then during the game, there's kind of a loop. And then as the time starts to run out, there's a little, like the music kind of gets more, like replicates that a bit more. And so that's one of the things that you can do in Fmod. Is you can bring instruments in and out, and you can sort of loop sections and based off of triggers in the game. So it's very interactive in that way, and it's very useful in a game like this. And you can do other things. You know, it's not just music; it's sound effects and stuff too. There's just lots and lots of different sort of parameters and dynamic sound effects and things you can do, changing pitch of things, and yeah, it's very, very robust. Right, building. So. I think just like a little, what would, maybe just a kind of copy of this style of building actually would look good here. Like I want this to mostly give sort of Plaza energy. So weird section, like what is going on there? So I don't know. I gotta get really creative with this. How would I rate my game design skills compared to game development? I don't know. What? Like, I don't know. I mean, I've been designing games at the same time as developing them, so they kind of go hand in hand, I guess. There's always new stuff to learn. Okay. I'm just taking a look for some inspiration on Google Maps here. There's kind of a section that this is trying to replicate. And I'm just trying to figure out like how best to do that replication of this area. It's a lot of, you know, it is a lot of fences. I could do that. Like it could be fully sort of plaza and fences and you know what? It could be kind of interesting if it dipped down here, actually. I hadn't really considered that, but what if there's this, okay, so The section I'm sort of trying to do I go into like map? No, how do I get it back into the map? Do I just have to click? Okay, you used to be able to just zoom out and it would go into like 3D map view, but I guess not. Okay, good job, Vancouver. Google Maps, well done. Oh, where does that jump me? Wait, what? Oh, wow. Oh, that's so funny. That was a road. I didn't know that. Huh. Okay, so in 2016, I guess that was a road. Look, there's no road there. Oh, fascinating. I moved to Vancouver when I was in 2019, so this section of... Okay, well that's good. I mean, that's interesting. Anyway, there's like a little steps down here. I don't know. This is a cool area of downtown, so I kind of wanted to replicate it a little bit. But I'm now just blown away by the fact that there was a road here. I mean, it makes sense. Like, I get that, but I'd never seen it before, so it's maps is cool like that sometimes. R.I.P. Nordstrom. But there's so much interesting architecture in this city. It's kind of why it's a really good source of inspiration for the game, especially this map that I'm making right now. I kind of just browse around Google Maps for a bit. See, I think I want to replicate some of this where it like goes down and there's a little like down that now makes so much sense why there's a like an underpass area there. I'm learning the history of this city. This is the courts in Vancouver too, and there's like trees and stuff on top of it. These like steps go up. It's very interesting. Yeah. I don't want to do half of this stuff, but okay. Maybe just to give it a little bit more, because like the thing I'm worried about, right, is that this ends up kind of just being not that interesting in terms of layout. Although maybe we do the inverse and this actually becomes like a raised plaza, and there's some steps and then you go up. What would that look like? That would be quite cool, wouldn't it? Verticality is pretty, like, I want there to be moments where you're doing cool jumps, and I mean, and I'm worried that although there'll be a building at the end of that line, there'll be a building up here. I just want to keep it interesting and change it up a little bit. Maybe let's do that. I think that'd be cool. Okay, yeah, that's what we'll do. Well, instead of going down, which we could kind of still do, maybe. We'll see. This section is probably going to be the piece that changes the most throughout this game's development. I'm not 100% committed to probably any of the decisions I make here. I want it to be like, I don't want these just like easy straight lines. I want there to be some challenge, because there needs to be some choke points, right? Like, for this game to work properly, you're chasing after each other and you're trying to steal the passenger from each other. So there has to be some, you can't just sort of have a straight line, right? You need to have some moments where you hit things and get caught so people can hit you, and vice versa, right? And like, those I think will be where the most interesting pieces of gameplay happen. So the level design has to support that, right? And so I'm always hesitant to have pure straight lines. Even in the like alleys and stuff, even here, like I'm trying to create some minor things. But what's interesting about this one is that there are places people can hide, right? So I'm intentionally creating spots where people can attack you from different angles. You know, if you're going around here, somebody might be able to cut you off. And that's what I really want to encourage. Classic sort of tactics for driving around. Yeah, I think a sort of platformed. Yeah, I think this will work. Because the like art gallery bit is also going to be kind of a platform, and then this piece in the middle. Yeah, okay, actually, yes. All right, I think I'm starting to get an idea of what we can put here now. Okay. So I want to bring this back a tiny bit. Actually, let's also change the texture so it's easier. Yeah, let's just do that for now. That's fine. We can clean all this up later. So then bring those sections in. So we'll create. You know what? I might just do this in sections because it's probably going to be easier to implement rather than breaking my spline tool. So let's bring the grid distance down so it actually resolves properly. Make this mostly linear. I think just like a simple up and down section would look cool, right? And that would kind of make sense for like a Plaza shopping, you know, open space, and then there could be some green space up here. Yeah. I think this would look nice. Okay. Yep. I'm starting to get some ideas and design for some of this. Are these all the same height? No, they are not. Let's just set all these to 0. I'll keep that one rounded for now. I'm not super... Actually, yeah, alright. Okay. Okay. Oh, weird. The world UVs have... Okay, hold on. So if I set this to default, what happens? That's not... That's so much worse. Oh no, okay. I guess that makes sense. Yeah, the tiling would be a little funky here. I don't know, that's actually... That kind of works. Whatever, it's fine. So the grid... I should really have a button in here to visualize the grid. Oh, wait, I can just put it into wireframe mode. There we go. Oh, I see, okay. Alright. That's fine. That's fine. Right. That, and then we do that. Grab these guys. Make that one the auto. Make that one linear. Like this. I'm not too worried about the precision of this. There's also one of those things where like a little bit of imperfection is actually desirable because it doesn't feel, it feels more natural, you know? And I realize that this game is a sort of cartoon, so there's some, I mean, honestly, that's the biggest learning curve for me is there's not a lot of information out there for stylization, sort of cartoon level design. It's all realistic, which makes sense, right? But it does mean like how much of the information that I'm learning about should I apply to this game. It's all sorts of things, even as a novice artist, is like, where do I put details into things versus it just becoming noise, you know? And I think I'm striking a balance. There's always going to be work to do, but yeah, part of it is just making sure that I have that flexibility to change things, and just designing everything in a way that I can reverse a decision pretty easily based off of the feedback I get when the game is in people's hands. So that's partly why I'm eager to get a lot of this done too, is I can get back to playing the game again with people. Because that was the most valuable thing about building the block out, was doing the block out, and then I played the game with some developer friends of mine, played it with my girlfriend, just some other close friends that aren't into games, found where the different pain points were, iterate on that, you know, because different types of people are going to play it differently too. And so I need to get back to that once this is done, right? That is a wide section. Is that going to work? I think that'll work. Baking lighting sucks, takes so much time. I don't know how to make it faster. Yeah, that's why there's no lighting in my game. Like, that was another conscious decision. I'm like, well, if I'm gonna make a 3D game, if I kind of do a toon thing, I can get away with it just being in the shader. You know, like there's a directional light and the shader has shadows based off of the directional light. But that's it. Any other lighting is baked in with textures that I'm painting. So on the characters, there's like some lighting, and some of the vehicles have, you know, but that's as far as it goes. It just does mean that you then can't do other things. This is, again, it's a game of trade-offs, just consistently trade-offs, right? All right. Oh, what's going on here? Oh, okay. I just screwed that up. Maybe this would be better. What if we do that? Yeah, that's better, isn't it? Right? Yeah, okay. I like this. Little platform. We can put a little store up here, and then, you know, a little cafe type looking thing. So there could be some like tables and chairs and stuff. You just come and hang in the sort of city center by where the art gallery would be. That'll make sense. And little courtyards, that kind of thing. A couple of buildings. Yeah. Market stalls. I do have this is probably where the market stalls go. I have some market stall props. This is probably where they go. So let's build the let's build the steps down. So we either do a halfway situation where halfway down we have another pavement, right? Do steps that way. That could work. I think that might work. Because what I kind of want is steps down from here, and then steps down from there. And then these are just all the same steps, right? I think that would work. So let's try that, I guess. Did I make steps, or have I always done? Okay, I haven't. All right. I think I've done a combination of techniques to do this. Was this not a spline? No. Oh, I actually. Oh, I did it that way. Okay. I mean, Yeah, alright. I mean, it worked. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Right, alright. I guess we'll do a similar thing here then. Let's grab some steps. The only thing I don't like about Pro Builder is they never go the they never go the direction I want them to go. What I want to do, okay, let me try it one more time. I want to draw like that and then have them come out. See, like that's not what I want. Does it matter which direction you draw this, or do they always come out the? Yeah, okay. You always have to draw the base. I guess is it relative to camera? Yeah, that's the only bit I don't like about Pro Builder. Whenever I'm drawing stairs, the stair tool just doesn't do what I want it to do. But that's fine. Okay, so I think in this instance we can just have them cross. I think that would look okay. Again, I think I'm just kind of trialing something right now. I mean, clean it up in a little bit. Okay. So that is more or less straight, which means that my section isn't. So let's fix that. There we go. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Honestly, actually, I don't think I want steps on the side. Like, how does that look? If we do that. Just what I don't like is steps sticking out, but then maybe if we put steps into the edge. Yeah, okay. Okay, yeah, and that'll then look better. Where's the base? Can I grab the base? There we go. It's fine if they're a little bit misaligned. I think I want these to stick out not that much. Yeah. And then blend accordingly. Okay. Yeah, I think this would be nice. This is definitely better than just like a flat single plaza. Okay. Okay. And then the question is, do we taper these off around the edge? Probably. Like, how far do we go with this, you know? Because this is slightly downhill, I get. Is that just the weirdness of this section, or is it actually downhill? Ah, it's just the weirdness of this section. Okay. Let me fix that. Oh, it's going to be horrible to try and fix. This one's really heavy, annoyingly. Okay. Are you using Pro Builder for your final art game environments, or is it sort of grey box? Yeah, I'm using Pro Builder. Like stairs and stuff. That's great. Like I don't need to make those in anything else. They'll be fine. Like if it does the job, I'll use it, you know? Okay, there we go. Oh yeah. Okay. thing is, I don't want to overcorrect this and then it end up being like downhill, like uphill, right? Oh, I had it. I lost it. There we go. That'll do. I think that's flat now. I need to fix the tool so that it looks more flat. Yeah, that'll do. Okay, better than nothing. Maybe I don't need to taper the edge off or anything. Maybe we just stick that. No, I think I'm actually going to make this an edge. I don't know if my resolution is going to be high enough to get the result that I want. This is where I have to sort of fiddle with my values to get it to behave the way that I want it to. There we go. Oops. I think it would look cooler just to be tapered off a little bit like that. Oh no. Oops. There we go. Like that. I'm going to do the same thing here. Okay, looks good. And then just add some more steps on the end. Whoops. So that it looks kind of curved. I'll probably do. I may have to do this in like tiny little pieces, like I did before, but I think that'll work. Just rotate it a tiny bit more, and then place the edge on the corner. I think I can just extend this piece actually, and that'll kind of, yeah, look at that. There we go. That's such a hack. I love it. That's great. Look at that. Okay. I just kind of do the same thing. Doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to not look wrong. I mean, it could look a little bit wrong. It's just not good to look like obviously wrong, you know? I think the other thing is like things that look wrong to game devs doesn't necessarily look wrong to players. And so being able to like identify that difference is part of the challenge too. Okay, this is looking good. Now we just give it the same shader. Or, oh, maybe we don't. Maybe we do this. Excuse me. Ooh. You know what I don't have? I don't have a darker version of this brick shader. Maybe we should do that. I think that would be better. Yeah, maybe let's try that. Let's make a third one. See. Let's just make it gray. See how that looks. I actually really like that. I really like that contrast. That's really nice. It just makes that, it makes that section a lot more interesting, doesn't it? The lack of the symmetry is kind of annoying me, but I don't know. I think it's fine. Kind of keeps it more unique. The real world is far from perfect. Yeah, exactly. I think that's kind of, yeah, that's kind of it, right? Like those little imperfections, I mentioned this earlier, those little imperfections kind of just make it gel better. If everything is too rigid, it's like quantizing, right? Like it's like music. Anything that's like exactly on the beat feels actually kind of weird, because real music played by real people is always just slightly offbeat or just slightly syncopated, right? So when you're making music digitally, you kind of want to move things just a little bit late or just a little bit early to help the ear feel more natural, right? Or help it feel more natural to the ear. Same kind of concept apply. Like you want those lack of, you know, not everything needs to be symmetrical, and things need to be slightly wrong to feel right. Maybe we put the brick. I quite like the contrast there, but I think it might be better. I think this needs to be a brighter color. Maybe. Ooh, like a paler. Let me switch to my colors and try and find one. I want one that's actually in my color palette, so it doesn't feel wrong. Though not that many of these are in my color palette. No, I think, yeah, I think it's better that it's all one connected piece. Okay. I will say saving is frustrating with, I think it's partly just due to the something going on with the way that it rebuilds things because of all of my procedural stuff. Hitting save takes more time than it should. I also find it being like grossly inconsistent too. Sometimes saving, I mean, I guess the longer you've gone without hitting save, the slower it'll be. I'd like to do some tests or read something from someone that's done tests on like saving your scene, and what the like best practices are around that. Because yeah, sometimes it's really slow to save, and then other times it's like nothing. So, okay, first step then. Let's drive up that and see what it looks like. I need to mark those as ground so I can actually drive up them. I've just realized that as I hit play. Crap. we go. Alright, let's go have a look. I might be able to make it up there with just momentum alone, but I'm probably gonna get stuck. Oh. Right. I went the wrong way. Yeah, I think if we put some edges on this, I think it'll work. Alright, let's mark those as... Oh, they're all going to be down here, aren't they? Ground. I have to remember to do this in a minute. Okay, there we go. Yeah, great. That just makes it a little bit more interesting, I think. I'm definitely gonna have to update the colliders on these guys though, like to not just be that, like it needs to be a ramp. That works. I'm happy. Put some... Once that's a little bit more together, that'll be good. It's better than just a flat piece of section. And then some steps down from there. Okay, that's the next bit we'll do. Pop those in there. Do we do the same thing, maybe? Oh, I know what we do. Steps on this side, steps on that side. Not here. Maybe like a gap in a fence, so if you're coming this direction. Oh, actually no, maybe like something you could launch off of, like a plant box. We kind of did that over here. Similar kind of concept, I think. Like a little plant box you can launch off of. I think that would work. Okay. So I made those ground, didn't I? Yeah. Oh, no, I didn't. Ground. There we go. And just grab those stairs again. Over here. Flip them around. Oh, actually. understand a lot of the like curved step feature of this thing. It's kind of strange. I guess it makes sense. Like a spiral staircase. That could be fun. Huh. Okay. Oh, I didn't know you could do this by height. Oh, I think I quite like that. Alright, let's flip those around. Sorry, I got distracted fiddling around with the tools. Oh, it doesn't need to be that wide. Oh, they don't need to be that wide at all. How much should this be plazaed, actually? Maybe it should be kind of wide. I think this will change. I think I'll switch this up depending on a few different factors, but I don't know. I'm not super happy with it yet. We'll see. A lot of these are just like playing around until it comes together and then just adding things until it kind of works, and then it's like, all right, that'll do. I think that's going to be too wide. Let's do that, and then I don't know. Put like a barrier up there, like a curb thing up there, and put like a tree down here. I think that'll work. Having that stand out a little bit is nice. Let's see if I can get that corner to resolve better. I don't think I will be able to. Oh, never mind. There we go. I think that still works. Yeah. Okay, good. All right. All right. I think that'll work. I think that'll work. I think it's just a case of like adding the details now, and like making that more of a location. It's certainly gonna be more interesting than what it was originally looking like. So I think we put like a building here. I think like I want a few places you can just jump off this thing, right? Definitely there. Like that has to be a way out. And then I'm thinking kind of something in the middle that is just a building. So maybe let's start there. Let's just grab this guy. Bring him over here. Put him in the right section. And plop him on top. Actually, though, bringing this over to the edge might not be a terrible idea. Oh, let's set these to 0 and actually have the object height be correct. Okay. Let's make these all even. There we go. And then bring this guy up. Okay. And this should be the well. How do I want this to look? Probably. Oops. That. Oh my god, this chair is so broken. I've had it for so long that it like just slowly starts to sink. It just gets into a state where it just slowly sinks. It's really annoying. I definitely need to replace it sometime soon. Okay, so I think we need to add another section. I think it needs to straighten up, actually. Yeah, so it's even for the building edge. And then it can be curved. Okay, so we put it up to that corner. Yep. Okay, I think I'm happy with that as a style. Do we let you run across the edge here and jump off there too? Maybe. Maybe it is something like this, but it's pushed up against this edge. I think I like that. Let's see. Let me change where the opening is though. I want... it's going the wrong direction though. Okay. So we want this one. Okay, there we go. Kind of works. Change the color of this guy. Gray. Actually, let's change the window. Yeah. Yep. Okay. Yeah. Ooh, let's put something on top, maybe. Let me flatten the roof. Duplicate this. And then remove the first set of materials. And then remove any doors on the base and all windows, basically. And right, but like that. Maybe in the center. Maybe. Yeah, I think that kind of works. I could put a little fence up there, and that would look cool. I don't think we need that many stories, though. I think we need like 2 stories. Maybe 3. 3. This should have a... Oh. Oh. I really forget how my roof thing works. There we go, okay. And let's change the roof. To like a white. Oh, that's like the same color, that's funny. I don't want a green roof. Sure, that'll do. I realize most of the buildings I've been using have had the same roofs for a while. I need to go through and update the roof colors, but I think that's fine. I actually could use, because I kind of like the idea that that's something you can walk on. So maybe we do concrete for that one. Yeah. Okay. I think that can work. I think the open bit is important, so there should be some sight lines, I think, but it shouldn't be totally visible. I think we're gonna have the station up here. Yeah. That definitely needs a door, actually. Okay, I'll worry about that later. But that should have a door there. And then, yeah, that can jump out there. And so I think this should be like an actual little plaza area. We could maybe put like a tiny building in here. I don't know. I kind of... Maybe if we just do the piece. All right. Let's place a spline along here and build the pieces I kind of know I need. It probably wouldn't be like that though, would it? Maybe it is. Maybe we just do a normal fence. Maybe we just do like a normal, just normal fence. Not like a neighborhood fence, but like a normal fence. All those, or like the lower. Because this, that'll be better in the center, I think. Okay, let's actually just like get this distributing nicely before we commit to anything. It would kind of work. I don't feel super keen on it. Yeah, I think that one's gonna work best. I think that one's more entrance to the building, gardeny, whereas this is more like, oh no, this is just a barrier. We do just have the normal metal. I genuinely don't know which one I prefer. Let's actually fix the freaking camera speed. I don't know why that was. Okay, that. I don't think that works. That doesn't work. I don't think that works. Those are prop barriers. Barrels. I think we pick the red, brown. I think we go brown. I think we go this and we go for the brown one. And yeah. I think that looks like that. That is correct. And desirable. The only other option is like a low brick wall. Or a curb. We could do a curb and a barrier. So it's kind of finished, you know? Maybe? Ooh, I like that, actually. Yeah, I quite like that. Alright, that's gonna be a little finicky, because these guys don't play nice. I should make some smaller versions of these so that they work with the spline tool a little better. So if we do that, and then we also do the barrier, no, fence. Obviously bring it up a little bit. That kind of has a, yeah. It feels designed, you know? It might... Right? Like it sticks out a little bit, so it's kind of protruding. I think that's the vibe we want to go for. Do we want a different color though? Do I have a white one? I do. Does white work? White would match the stairs. But then that color then doesn't really work. But then if we went white on the barrier, we go gray. No, the white's a bit too... I think that gray. And then maybe that white works. I think let's start with this. We can always change the freaking barrier later. Sitting here twiddling my thumbs. Yeah, okay. Let's do that. So then so let's call this the Plaza barrier, Plaza curb, and just throw those into the middle, and then do more spline fun times. Let's work on the curb first because this one's going to be kind of a pain. Can I get this to bend to my will? Probably not, huh? Then I think what we do is we just use the curb to mask. Oh no. Right. Yeah, alright. I'm gonna make that curb smaller. I'm gonna make a smaller version of the curb. I think. If you change the scale, does that impact how many get placed in there? Oh, there we go. Okay. Oh, we can just cheat. All right, let's... No, I don't like that. I don't like that. They look squished. Okay. Let's just set it to 2. They should overlap a little bit. I think that gives us the capacity we want. I think we could just put a little connector piece in there. If I want to make that work, I can just manually place one. I think. I'll worry about it later. It's fine. I've got plenty of tools in my toolkit to fix that. Okay, don't... I get the spline is trying to help, but that's not what I wanted. Yeah, I'm going to struggle with this corner. Oh, although we wanted you to be able to jump off that bit, so actually it's fine. Never mind. Yeah. It's not the most elegant, but I think it's fine. For now. Again, I can clean it all up a little bit later. As long as it doesn't look like obviously wrong. Like that looks wrong. Right? Like, I think that works. And then, yeah, we said we actually wanted this to be, like, jumpable. So, actually, we could push that along. Like so. Did I have something like this in the initial layout? I don't think I did. No. I think I did that over here. Yeah. What's in this section coming from down there? Actually, this will work really well because the Plaza piece, like the station piece is going to be there. So that might be quite a nice little shortcut. I think we'll see. We'll see how that works. But I think this is good for now. Right. All right. I think I'm gonna just finish this off, and then I think we'll probably wrap it for today, because I haven't eaten anything yet, and I'm getting quite hungry. And I'm also in the middle of playing Metaphor ReFantazio, and I'm close to finishing it, so I want to use some of my free time to play that today. Yeah, and then we just push the boundary of this up to there. And then add this guy. The barrier. Like this. Okay. That's not really what I wanted it to do. The stupid auto rotation thing is really annoying. But it's fine. Let's zero those out. I want to keep these mostly linear. might just have to put a knot in exactly how I want it. Yeah. That is good enough for now. Okay. Okay. There we go. Honestly, I think just putting a barrier there. Let's just put one of our little prop guys in the way there. And that'll look fun. Do these guys move? I think these guys have physics. Don't want one of those. But I just want to put some cones. I think we just put some cones there, to be honest. I love I love the concept that in this city, just like there's just a bunch of holes in things, and they've just put cones up and like little barriers. Like, we'll get around to this. Like that dissonance of this is a video game and it needs to have these things to make the video game like function. It's just like a fun concept. it's pretty funny. It's like, careful, caution. We haven't quite built this yet. Like, there's a hole right now. Actually, bring these forward. And then this could be at like a little bit of an angle. Like that. And that guy can be there. That would probably go in front, wouldn't it? And it's like, yeah, good enough. All right, let's drive through that because that'll be fun. I'm trying not to fall off the edge of the world. Let's see how that looks. I think those fences have physics on them. We'll find out in a minute. I'm pretty sure they do. I'm pretty sure they've got colliders, so I don't think I can drive through them. I think like at some point I'll put decals on the walls and stuff so it looks a little bit better. But I think for now, that's probably fine. Okay, let's have a look. I guess I'm going the long way. I really should move where I'm starting. This is coming together really rapidly though. I think a couple of weeks time, if I can keep committing some time to this. Is there enough space to drive? Yeah, just enough. All right. A little bit more control is needed there, but I don't think that's a bad thing. Those steps are too steep, that's for sure. I can fix that a little bit later. But yeah, you're late racing, you'll come up here. Try not to lose it on the curb there. And then you can sort of shortcut that way. It's less, because then it's like less likely that you're going down those stairs. Like the realistic route is that you're going to drive up here and then go like that. right? Like that'll be the main thing. But then if you're coming from this direction, and realistically, you would just turn here. I don't know, gives you some options. Means you're a little bit harder to chase. But it also means that people can be waiting in, you know, here for you. Which is why, like, that's why maybe we want somewhere to fall off here. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting playing with this piece when it's together. And then, yeah, the station will be there. Otherwise we can drive down here. Try not to fall off the world. Oh, there's no intersection there, never mind. Look at the train go. At some point, I will turn that into a real object. It's cool. It's fun. Yeah, all right. That's pretty good. For now. Turn this into more of a plaza at some point. And yeah, finish the curb there. Clean this little section up. And this section. Yeah, I think putting a little planter box with a tree there will be nice too. Just little details, I think. We'll start bringing this little piece together. Some benches along here. Making it feel like it's pedestrianized space a little bit more. And that like cars have to do a little bit more work, you know? That's kind of the vibe I want to go for that section. It is mostly designed to have people kind of wandering around in. And that you are not actually supposed to be there as a car. It's like the one point of the map that is that format, right? I think will look pretty neat. So yeah, I think we'll wrap things up here. So thank you for joining me. I reckon I'll try and do another stream before the end of the month. And yeah, next video on the channel, hopefully I need to start working on soon. I'm going to try and make this building tool that I have. That's probably going to be the next video because you guys voted as that to be the most interesting. So we'll probably do that soon. But yeah, striking a balance between the two of those. Two of these things is for sure the challenge right now. So I'm enjoying making the levels and stuff, but I also want to keep content coming on the channel. And I think I have a little bit more capacity to do it right now. So I'll try and make the, I think the building tutorial will be next. And then I think we'll probably do the Fmod one. But yeah, thank you for watching. Thanks for joining me. Again, if you've enjoyed, do let me know in the comments if you're watching this after the stream. And let me know your thoughts on the game and how it's coming along. And yeah, if you have any questions, I'll try and answer them next time I'm on too. So thanks for watching and goodbye. I'll see you next time. Bye.